Hello, my cuddly, trash-eating possum fantasy community friends. We are Offensive Points, and today we are going to go on a little cruise on some Taxi Squad confessions. We're going to cruise right through the Taxi Squads and just relive our thoughts, share our thoughts, and have an open discourse about what we should do with these players. As always, I'm with Josh and Billy. Josh, Billy, what is up?
I love the analogy, but I do want to caveat it with that anytime you're in a taxi, you are not taking your time. You are ready to get to the destination immediately. I don't know if taxis even still exist. I'm sure they do in New York City at this point, but
I think it depends where you're in a taxi, because
that's true.
Like when I lived in South Carolina, the taxis were just like no one was in a hurry, man. It was chill.
It's a different vibe over there, man. You got beach vibes.
Low country, dude. I was also hammered most of the time I was in a taxi, so maybe we were flying and it would just move in slow.
Yeah, you have no idea how fast it's going.
Beer, whiskey, some other supplements. It throws off your concepts.
Before we let Billy speak, because he is here, audio listener, we're just not letting him talk for fun. I did want to get into the fact that this NFL schedule release is just the biggest, like, showy showboat reason for, like, no reason. Just release the schedule. Like, nobody needs this, one game's going to be here, 2 games are going to be here. Piecemeal. I don't even know if it's still out. Like, maybe they officially finally came out with the full schedule. I don't even know.
They did.
They're doing a live event. Okay.
The Bears finally announced it.
Okay. Well, it's just like everyone else just is like, hey, here's the schedule. Good luck. Go buy some tickets.
Billy, shut up. Billy, shut up. I do like how every team is releasing their schedule release. Like the Steelers had the Sasquatch Bros with Keanu Benton and Nick Herbert. It was hilarious. I advise everyone to go watch it. Billy, you can talk.
I like the teams' social media versions of them. It's just the NFL like slow trickling the like one game at a time stuff that I don't care. Like the social media teams for NFL are amazing. They do a great job. It's the NFL that makes this possible. It's like, just release the schedule. Just be like, hey, here's the schedule. And then the social media teams can do their fun stuff anyway.
Speaking of one game at a time, go sign up for the Fantasy Football Expo happening in Canton, Ohio on August 8th through the 12th. And you can play cornhole, bags, whatever you want to call it. And we just play one game at a time. We sip some beer, throw some bags, and it's really fun. So we'll be out there. Come see us, and Josh will buy you 5 beers.
I like that. We're getting better. Also, I don't know if they're not even reigning, 2-year reigning third place champion of cornhole. So just, check it out. It was definitely Curtis that
there was a 4th in there.
No, I'm 3rd. I got her up here.
You weren't there last year, so
no. I know. That's why I said
you just gave that up.
Year off reigning champion.
Oh, okay. I was about to say you said reigning. I was pretty sure.
Billy, how you doing?
In a weird way, Billy. You're not talking.
Doing okay. I did like the Cardinals. They released theirs by having Mac Wilson do a rap song. That was kind of interesting.
18 bars
schedule release. Yeah, some people are kind of flaming the song as not great, but I like a little creativity.
Most NFL players that turn into rappers don't really work out. We had Le'Veon. I think AB released a couple songs too. I
think.
He's not Dame Dollar, okay?
Trying to think who has put out a good song, but I really don't think there has been. Darren Waller, those were kind of a joke. Those songs,
those weren't very bad, man. I wonder if that actually pretty much sealed his retirement.
Super Bowl Shuffle won a Grammy.
That's true, but I mean wasn't really a rap song. I guess for the time that was for the time. I guess it would have been. I guess that's true. Okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to get out or no?
No, yes? Billy, you can talk now.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. All right. Well, welcome back, Possums. Good to have everybody in here tonight. We have kind of neglected talking about the news that's happened over the last 3 weeks because we've just been hammering rookies and draft, and nothing's really struck the need to break into coverage to talk about. So let's just do a little news roundup. I'm going to play this new song, even though Joe can't hear it, but audience, this is our news roundup song.
Offensive Points News Roundup, hooray! Catch the stories of the day, bright and breezy, sharp as a dart. This roundup hits you straight in the heart.
Billy,
I'm a big
you
fan
got so
of
much
that.
better at singing, dude. Like I really am.
I'm a big fan of that song.
Well, yeah, you sang it.
I
I
love the
hear
Joe
it.
can't hear it. That makes it
Well,
so
I have
much
to
better.
watch the time here on the side to tell when I can talk again. But from the little bit that I could hear when it was playing on your speakers, it sounds very Fallout-esque, which means
It is very Fallout-esque. Yeah, no, it's very jazzy.
I can see that.
Yeah, nice and chill.
So, without further ado, let's get into some news. We'll start with one that happened today. Derrick Henry, 2-year extension, $30 million, $15 million a year. Not that they had got anyone that we thought was going to take over as the lead back in Baltimore. There was no succession plan through the draft or anything. But what are you guys feeling? Derrick Henry, 2 more years. The cyborg chugs on.
Is that just 2 total years, or is it 2 years on top of this year? Like, is it
an extension, so I guess 2 years on top of this year.
So until 2027. I love it, man. He has shown no signs of slowing down, even though everyone has been telling us that he's going to be slowing down at like 28, 27, and now he's 31. Going into your 31 season, I'm sure there's a little bit of worry there or whatever, but at the same time, you get one of the best running backs in the league when he's healthy, and he's been healthy. So hope to God he can stay that way and give the Ravens a chance to take on that AFC title.
I'm really glad I traded a 202 pick in this draft for Derrick Henry before the contract extension because.
How did someone give you a 202 for Henry?
Hunter did it, man.
That sounds about right.
He wanted like 2 first and something else, and then I was like, I'll give you the 202, and he was like, okay.
Wild. Man. This is why I love. I wish I could get good trades. Nobody ever gives me good trades. I feel like I have to like pay up for them, which is fine. I usually like the players I'm getting, but
you seem too desperate when you send a trade. You know?
I'm like, please, can I please
cut into the bone on that one a little bit.
when I see Josh Hall has sent you a trade pop up, I'm just like, oh god, this guy again.
There's no way we're giving it to him.
It's like a "Are you up?" text at 2 a.m.
They are always at like 11 o'clock, dude. 11 o'clock, I just surf some rosters, and I'm like, man, I need to share him. All
I think
Henry managers out there, be wary. You're
I think when it's all said and done, Derrick Henry might be the best like dynasty player of all time. Like I think you've literally gotten the most amount of bang for your buck if you drafted him back in whatever it was, 2012, something like that. You've had him for 13 years and you're going to have him for 3 more. Like I can't even imagine the return that you've gotten from him. I got obviously hasn't won me any championships because I haven't had him, but
I was going to say 2012 seemed a bit generous.
Well, what was it? 2016? Dang.
2015?
That's kind of crazy to think he's only been in the league that long. That seems
9 years. This will be his 9th year.
Yeah, imagine floating a third or
surprising.
Something after he was not starting because DeMarco Murray was there, and you're like, give me a 3rd round pick for him.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh man, the DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry days of the Titans, like, was just so. It was fun. I mean, I wouldn't say that looking back, it's kind of shocking that that's how it happened, but it was kind of fun when it happened.
Looking back on it, it seems like DeMarco Murray would be younger than Derrick Henry, but in reality, he's not. And he was the predecessor.
Now he's coaching at OU and fucking up the Oklahoma running back room. So, yay.
That sounds about right. He pretty much did that for most of his career.
Happy to have that. He had that one Cowboys year. That one fed families. And then I got the Cowboys jersey that Christmas, and he was traded in January. So it was fun. It was a fun time to be a DeMarco Murray fan.
I would love to know how many jerseys you have of people that are still on their teams or people that are not on their teams.
I mean, so the ones I buy now, I usually only buy them if I'm like, okay, that person seems like they're going to be there for a long time. I would say the 2 that I've got burned on, one was an NBA jersey. I got a Buddy Hield rookie jersey for the Pelicans. He was traded halfway through the season of his rookie season with the team. He was like the 15th overall pick, and he was traded halfway through the season. And then that DeMarco Murray jersey, just because I got it for Christmas, and then he was traded in January, where I was like, okay, they're not going to get rid of him, right? Like, they're going to keep DeMarco Murray. Just did a record-breaking season for them, and they told him to get the hell out of here. And, yeah, he went to the Eagles, and the rest is history.
I will only buy Bears jerseys of legends now. So, Urlacher, Peyton.
It's probably smart.
Khalil Mack, I got a jersey. I love it. That was a vibe. Devin Hester, total vibe. But I got Fields here, and I do love
Which
Justin
is wild
Fields.
because the Mac jersey is actually kind of like tainted, in my opinion, for the Bears. Like, you guys got that screwed team over for years. Although Khalil Mack's an amazing player.
2018 was so worth it, though. That defense was so nasty.
That year was amazing.
Oh, my God.
All right. Was there any other news, Billy? I know we're not letting you.
Yeah, there's more news. We spent way too much time on that one. But all right, let's get through this really quick. George Pickens traded the Dallas Cowboys from the Steelers. We didn't really talk about it. He was exchanged for a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. Joe, what was your immediate thoughts when you saw George Pickens traded to the Cowboys?
My immediate reaction was, how the hell are they going to pay Micah Parsons
or Pickens?
Well, they got to pay Pickens too, and I don't know. This is like scary to me. It makes sense for the team because Pickens is a great compliment to CeeDee Lamb. However, Pickens is kind of wild and wants a contract and is going to want the Cowboys to give him a contract. And if he doesn't start slow or this team's losing games, it seems like it's going to be an issue. So we'll see.
My immediate reaction was, thank God the Cowboys finally did something. Like, they needed to get a wide receiver too. I think this is a great wide receiver too. I think the fan bases are getting a little too riled up about this on both sides. The Steelers losing him and the Cowboys gaining him. I've seen so many NFC East wide receiver rooms of what number one it would be. And of course, everyone in their fandom has their guy as number one. But people have Pickens as the number 4 receiver in the NFC East. That's I can name 4 immediately that are better than him, much less probably another 2. I think Pickens is fine. I think what you've gotten from him in the past, for fantasy perspective, I don't think it changes much. For the team, it changes a lot because they finally have someone else to throw the ball and really should get CeeDee Lamb more open, hopefully. But yeah, I don't really see this changing much, right? 50, 60 catches on 100 targets, 900 yards, something like that, maybe 1,000. Touchdowns pretty mid. I mean, that's pretty much what you're getting from Pickens, but he is a number 2 and you need that. So, but to hype him up to be a top 10 wide receiver is just hilarious to me because it's he's not that.
He has the talent.
I do think I believe in him more now than I did when he was with the Steelers. That I do feel that I know what his floor is now versus what it was.
The list of wide receivers that Mike Tomlin has let walk in the last 5 to 6 wide receivers is not a good room to be in. That's the issue here. And so if Tomlin let him walk for, I assume Tomlin has a say in that, there had to be good reason. He's got to be a locker room problem. I think Joe's spot on with this, where there's going to be some issues, especially if they don't start winning early.
Well, if you search up the highlight clips, you'll see when he knows he's not getting the ball, he just quits on routes. As soon as literally the ball's snapped and it's a run, he just immediately okay, not getting the ball, so I'm going to stop here. So, I mean, I get it. He says he's willing to play with no contract. He doesn't need the extension to play.
You can say that.
I know, exactly. It's kind of I need to see it to believe it kind of thing here. Yeah.
Honestly, good haul for the Steelers, getting a 3rd and 5th out of them, not having to pay them as well.
They have the most picks in next year's draft right now. The draft is also in Pittsburgh. So
speaking of drafts, go over to Fast Draft and use promo code +OP for 100% deposit match up to $50. Get in on the IDP drafts. They're awesome. It's 6 rounds, 15 seconds a pick. Best ball all year long. So it's a great time. You can throw some money in there. And guys, people get injured. People break out. It's a fantastic. People fall off. So you can just do a quick draft and win a lot of money at the end of the year. So go over to Fast Draft, use promo code +OP.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Just a couple more whip around things. Trey Hendrickson says he's not going to play this season if he doesn't have a contract. Do we believe him?
Apparently he has said that there has been no talks whatsoever. So I kind of do.
Why would he play?
Why would he?
I just feel like they always threaten this stuff, and then by week 3, they're in the building and they're playing. But at the same time,
well, they know that.
What are they going to do?
They can't pay him. They pretty much know that, and so I think Hendrickson knows that. So he's trade me. If he hasn't come out with a formal trade, go trade me clause, he's going to very shortly.
Well, I mean, plus you just saw Jamar Chase and T. Higgins do the holdout nonsense and get massive contracts. So I don't think it's going to work out well for him, but
I think he can get traded to a team that he can go get paid for. I mean, there's plenty of teams. Carolina, for example, has a little bit of money splashed. I mean, kind of weird that they wouldn't just do that without Burns, but someone's going to pay Hendrickson. I mean, I don't know if he plays out this year or not. It's a little worrisome though, because that's the only player on their defense that's worth a damn, other than some of these rookies that are coming in.
Does kind of feel that way. We'll see. I don't know. Currently, the Bengals going in, I don't trust their defense, but we didn't trust it last year, and those games were a lot of fun to watch at least. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
Their offense is great for pass rushers because the offense scores so many points. That's true.
They got to keep up. And
there's a reason he got 17 and a half sacks last year, and it was because opposing quarterbacks were dropping back so much. But, I mean, we'll see.
You're right. But it will always be a plus matchup for whoever you're playing against the Bengals. You're like, all right, fire everybody up this week. Feels like that's what we're going to do again.
Yep.
Okay, the last thing I wanted to touch on is Derek Carr, retired, gone, no longer with the Saints. He has that rotator cuff injury that we thought was going to keep him out most of, if not this whole entire season anyway. So he just decided to hang it up. I don't know. What do we think about that after do we think the Saints are going to be tanking, basically?
I don't know about all that, but I think this is great for the Saints all around with Carr being gone. I know it's going to kind of be a weird year with some rookie / year two guy and Rattler and Shuck, but at the same time, you cannot afford Carr. Like, they gave him $10 million, he got his signing bonus, and then they saved $30 million, which they should have never been paying Derek Carr in the first place. So personally, I think it was a win for them, him just retiring and not trying to eat up that contract all year or figuring a way to get back on the field. So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. You're not going to have Shaheed. You're not going to have Carr. Olave, we'll see what happens with him. Kamara's old. They should absolutely rebuild this team. I mean, the only people they brought back / in are Donovan Peoples-Jones and Chase Young. I mean, what's that really going to do for your team here? They overpaid the hell out of Juwan Johnson because they had to. I think it's time to hit reset. Sorry, Rougarou, but it's time.
I feel like most Saints fans have to be aware of that. They've also, I'm not going to say they've completely been just blowing most of these drafts, but man, there has been some. If you look back at what the Saints have done the last few years in the draft, it just really feels like they have not hit on any single draft pick. And that is just rough. That's just rough going in to a rebuild that you don't really have anything to do with, I don't know.
Yeah. They sold their soul to win with Breeze, and then they're still paying for it somehow.
Back in 2006?
Still paying for it. I don't know how.
Well, they couldn't find a replacement, and then Carr was a great stopgap for them, and then they gave him a 4 or 5 year contract that was just way too inflated. Carr was fine. Honestly, I saw a weird stat of him. He was the only person to throw for 40,000 yards, and I can't remember what the other stat was, and not win. And lose to every single team. And not win a playoff game or something. I don't know if it was a playoff game. I can't remember what the other stat was, but it was just wild. It was lost to every single team, and only person to do that, and the only person to throw for 40,000 yards and not have, I can't remember, maybe it was a conference championship or something.
Speaking of consistency, go over to Big Guy Fantasy and check out their 2025 consistency guide. The information on this is absolutely amazing. So, okay, I was looking at the quarterback thing they put out earlier. So quiz time, dudes. Who was the 6th most consistent quarterback in 2024? First 5 were Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Daniels, and Hurts. Who was number 6?
You say Daniels?
Mm-hmm. Said Daniels.
You said
Hurts.
Probably not, since you're asking it like this.
No, Hurts was 5.
Baker?
It was Baker.
Ooh, Baker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bake was number 6. And by the way, I've been in a couple drafts here. Baker is going early this year, so people are on it. They understand.
It's finally here.
The value. I thought we were going to get a value on him this year, but
it took me giving up.
You did get it.
It was dark. Those Carolina days were dark, guys. They were dark times.
You used to buy a Bucks jersey, and I was like, why not? And you're like, not doing it.
No, I said I was going to buy that. It was the Rams jersey I was on the fence about, but then we won that Raiders game, and that kind of changed everything.
Jersey during a game, and then I asked you about the Bucks one, and you were a little delayed on it because you're like, dude, this is getting a little ridiculous. I bought 2 jerseys, and he ain't done shit.
3 games with the Rams. So that's
I can truthfully say it's because of me not buying that jersey right away. That's why he's good. Can we go over? I know we're going to get to the taxi squad thing in here in a second. I just want to go over this real quick just because of how hilarious it is. All right, I'm going to go over the first 2 picks of the last 5 drafts for the Saints. I'm not going to count last year. That was Kool-Aid and Talisi Fuaga. Jury can still be out on those guys. It's only been 1 year. Year before that, Brian Breesy and Isaiah Foskey. I don't think either of them is a major factor for that team. They also took Kendre Miller, which is on the outs for that team. The year before that, they took 2 first-round picks. Chris Olave, jury's probably still out, but I would say leaning the arrow's down.
Really? Because of the concussions. Never mind. Fair.
Yeah, because it seems like he's one play away at all times. And then they took Trevor Penning, which he might be cut before the season starts. The year before that, it was Peyton Turner and Pete Werner.
Pete Werner
don't think either of those guys is really doing much at this point. Still,
Werner had a couple good games.
And then the year before that, Cesar Ruiz, who I think is their center, and then Zach Bond, who they don't have anymore. And then 2019 was Eric McCoy, who was a center that they got rid of right away, and then CJ Gardner-Johnson, who also
he was good on their team.
I know, but I mean he's not there now. if they're going to try to rebuild around good players, they don't have him anymore.
How do you have Zach Bond on your team and not even attempt to move the positions?
Try to move him into a different position, or like just give him snaps for that matter.
Yeah.
But back to Pete Werner, he had 90 tackles the last 2 years. That's not terrible. I mean,
that isn't terrible, but if it's the thing is like this team is not really built on much. That is my issue with it. They're not really built on. We've got all of these picks that are going to make this team better. They don't really have that, and so they're going to have to start this thing from the studs down. I feel like, and just start completely fresh. But I don't even know what they trade. At this point, to try to get people in there, I don't even know who that would be.
You just got to hope that this draft. Hopefully, they don't screw up this draft. You said they had some of the most picks next year, or no? That's
Pittsburgh. Yeah, no,
regardless, they need to not mess up the next draft. They
might get the number 1 overall pick because of how bad they are. I think they're going to be fist fighting the Steelers if they don't get a quarterback. All right, tonight we are going to go through a little taxi squad confessions. We do this every year. We kind of audit. When you do your rookie draft. And they have all, your roster gets filled up with all the players. You're sitting there. You've got to cut like 5 or 6 people to get all your draft picks onto the team. And you're just hovering over the drop button on a couple of guys. That's what we're doing. That's what this podcast is. We're going to go through guys that might be on that drop bubble that you're thinking about. And we're just going to give some suggestions of guys that we think are safe to cut versus maybe a couple guys that like you should keep around because there's opportunity around the corner. So I actually want to start this one out just because I think this one's in the news a little bit, something that we all kind of feel a little bit, we have a little bit of strong convictions about, and it's Jonathan Brooks. So if you have Jonathan Brooks on your team, he's been physically unable to perform list for this year, so he's not going to play at all this season, which we all kind of assumed that's what was going to happen, but we didn't know. Now, there is a chance that you have an IR spot you can just throw him on and you probably don't have to worry about it. However, we're going to go into this assuming that you probably are going to need that IR spot for something else. Would you all cut Jonathan Brooks or would you keep him?
You can't. Unfortunately, you can't even trade him because you're not getting any near value. Like at this point, you're stuck with Jonathan Brooks. I have him in 2 leagues. Unless someone's going to give you a second running back on a team at this point. I can't even say running back 2 because that means someone that's starting. Unless someone's going to give you a valuable handcuff to someone you got or a backup who has a chance, like a Ray Davis or something that has a chance to take over a role, I don't think you can trade him. I don't think it's worth it for you unless someone overpays for him because they're a big Carolina fan. Unfortunately, you're just stuck with Brooks. I got him in 2 leagues, and I'm just going to let him rot on the taxi squad and IR, I guess, in that case.
Yeah. Jonathan Brooks is getting the Treylon Burks treatment for me. I can't quit it. He's going to age out of my taxi squad and burn a bench spot until I at least see a snap from him that's worth a damn. So,
well, he actually looked decent when he came in, even after an injury, and then the Eagles destroyed his career, or tried to at least.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, don't have any say.
The Philly special.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about whether I would do it or not. Now, I have an IR spot, so I'm probably just going to throw him on that. But what good is it going to matter if he's good by 2027? Like, maybe he's good maybe he gets to actually a chance to start next season. I doubt it because they have 2 guys there that I think are going to be capable. I actually kind of want somebody else to have this problem. However, I would probably try to trade him first. But if I couldn't get anything from that trade, I'm not going to be mad about it. Letting him go, letting him clog somebody else's taxi squad or IR.
You are not cutting him.
I don't think you can cut him.
If it's between a rookie I'm just getting in and I actually want versus Jonathan Brooks, I'm not mad about it.
Are you trying to get Kyle Mongai on your taxi squad and cutting Brooks?
Well, that wouldn't be one of the people that I would take over him. But
if it was like DJ Giddens, is that a guy you would?
I'd consider that. Yeah, I really would.
I mean,
he's one Jonathan Taylor injury away from being very relevant this season.
Herbert's there. Watch out.
Well, I appreciate your belief in Herbert, Joe. I one of your undying beliefs. But I think he's one injury away, and that's
Dowdle's okay. So you said there's 2 capable people there. Dowdle's only on a 1-year contract. This was a rental to fill the Jonathan Brooks hole. Unless you're talking about Herbert, who's there. So I mean, it's Chuba.
The Etienne pick was rough.
No, it's Etienne. That's a guy they're going to give a chance to.
In college, I asked you if he was any good, and you said no. Flat.
I said he wasn't as good as his brother. That is not a hot take. He
wasn't as good as his running mate, who you probably know, but I don't remember. Who was on?
He was at Georgia, and I'm not going to say okay.
The other guy's better.
I would give him a chance over a guy that's gotten 2 back-to-back ACL tears. I would definitely take a chance on Etienne rather than that, but that's fine. Again, this is about unclogging rosters. If you all want to leave that shit in the drain and have a plumber come out and deal with it, that's fine. I'm going to get that out of my system, though.
Your league is. That's where I'm at.
Well, that's another portion of this.
McIntosh on my taxi squad right now, so I would totally have Jonathan Brooks over Kenny McIntosh.
But if you only have 3 spots, I mean...
Yeah. If you only have 3 spots, you could consider it, I guess.
Right. Okay.
I'm not with it. I just love
Jonathan. No. It was when he was on Florida. He told me, and I quote, Montrell Johnson is better than Trevor Etienne. Do you still believe
that? At the time, yeah. That was 2 years ago. No, I don't think that at all. I think Etienne's better than Montrell Johnson standing here today.
1 year ago.
Okay, well, at Georgia, he was better than he was at Florida with Montrell Johnson. Yes, factual.
600 yards rushing. How is he better? He got less yards on Georgia than he did on Florida.
You don't always have to have yards to be good.
I would have to beg to differ for a running back. But, all right. Let me
McConkey only had like 700, 800 yards, and he's one of the best wide receivers in the rookie class last year.
Let me talk about a cut who is actually someone you should cut. And I might eat my words on this because I've waited 2 to 3 years for Jared Goff to fail, but I think it's time that we can go ahead and let go of Hendon Hooker. Now, this could be a great pickup once you have an IR spot to fill in, but I don't think anyone's rushing to the waiver wire to go pick up Hendon Hooker, unless you're in Superflex, and then in which case you're probably keeping him. But he's now off the taxi squad, so technically, depending on what your year limits are, so it's kind of like now that he's on a roster spot, it's kind of tough to keep him. I mean, it's that little backup because the Lions offense is so dynamic. It'd be so great if he did come in. It could be really fun. But honestly, we don't know what he could be. We haven't seen it. So at this point, 3rd year in the league, you can't really keep him on your roster. I can't warrant a roster spot, much less a taxi squad spot for him. So I think it's time to let Hendon Hooker flow to the free agency, and then if you can later when you get an IR spot, say you have Overshown or something on your team, you can go pick up Hooker when Overshown hits that IR eventually.
Yeah, the re-signing
That's
of
fair.
Teddy Bridgewater was kind of the Hendon Hooker coffin for me last year because, like,
and it's like weird because it's like you
Still
need another
believe.
veteran. I believe in Hendon Hooker too. I thought it was perfect for him. He got a chance to learn from like one of the good quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks out there, and just Jared Goff's just been healthy, man. Like, which is
Yeah,
great for
they
the
were
Lions.
just like, "Hey, Teddy Bridgewater is coaching high school football right now. We should go sign that guy." You know?
It is one
Yeah.
that they still have one.
I feel like it's just the writing's just on the wall that it's just not going to work out. It's crazy to me, some of these quarterbacks that like I'm like, what could possibly go wrong? And it's like an injury takes them out, and they're like never the same. Same with Jordan Travis, who was on Florida State and went to the Jets. Like when he was healthy, it wasn't always great, but there was some really good stuff he did at Florida State, and you thought, man, that guy's going to come in and be really good whenever he gets healthy again. And unfortunately, he's not, and had to medically retire from the Jets. But it's kind of been the same thing for Hendon Hooker, where it's just like never caught back up to what he did at Tennessee, and he was the reason Tennessee was good.
You can't say it never caught up. He's just never had a chance to play. Like, he's only played in preseason, and actually, he's looked good.
I understand, but like Joe Milton has gotten a chance to get traded and maybe has a chance with the Cowboys. Like, I feel like we would have seen something from Hooker by now in relief
I'm a little
duty.
worried. Does he have the rushing upside still, or is that gone out the window now that he's 20?
Seems like he's not there like anymore. I don't know.
Should we take ACL injuries for quarterbacks way more seriously
Probably
than we do?
Probably.
Because I know Brady made it back. That's Tom Brady. I mean, we've seen so many of these quarterbacks
Tom Brady
get
also
this
doesn't
injury,
move
and they just don't come back.
Trying to think who. I mean, I guess Joe Burrow came back from a horrific injury to the leg, but
And his rookie.
I guess it
Joe
does.
Burrow.
I guess it really doesn't happen. Well, I'm just saying, like, I guess it doesn't really happen that much to like where I'm thinking, like, I don't know. I think you might be right.
I think if there's any running prowess to the quarterback, I think we should take it a lot more seriously. Now, Joe, you just named two pocket passers who sit back there and don't take many steps after the snap. So Joe Burrow obviously plays a little, had to run for his life for a couple of years. So it's pretty shocking that he didn't re-injure that, and very happy that he didn't because he's had a great career so far. And we'd love to see more years of that. But Brady, he took 3 steps back there, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Back.
They're also two of the best to do it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it like, should we be concerned about McCarthy here?
I think we should. I'm sorry. McCarthy and Penix. I mean, Penix didn't get injured, but just both of them in general, we have not seen it. To just vault them up into the, like, I don't know about fantasy perspective-wise or where they land at the moment, but we'll get there at one of these weeks. But for me, like, people are talking like this is just the Vikings are going to be fine. Atlanta's going to be fine. We don't know. Like, nobody knows. Maybe the team knows a little bit. Like, McCarthy looks good. But I feel like McCarthy was kind of, like, clowned on during the draft process where it was like he's, that team was a running team. I mean, it was, McCarthy was fine. He's actually kind of getting the Jalen Hurts treatment where, like, running game was so good that he didn't have to do it all. So, I don't know.
I think we should have learned this lesson with Sam Bradford when he played for the Rams. Like, he had a pretty devastating injury, and he was really good until the injury, and then it was game manager from then on. That might be what Michael Penix is right now as we're talking. I mean, he's a couple years past his injuries that he had in college, but like he might just be. I think so. I would have to look it back up. Can't believe we did all this work on these quarterbacks in last draft, and I already have forgotten like stuff like that. But whatever. I think you're right. There might be something to the leg injury thing. I don't know.
Shoulder, and he had a knee injury at some point too. He's ACL tear 2020, and then a shoulder separation in 2021. So we were actually both right.
Wild.
So maybe it is still in there somewhere, just like hiding in a deep corner.
I just think, like, when we get a wide receiver, we get a running back, we're like, damn, this guy's gonna be healthy in 2 years. We kind of factor that in. And quarterbacks, we're just like, all right, they're back, we're good. I think we need to consider that a little bit more.
Yeah. What up, Axton?
Good to have you in. All right, Joe, do you have one? This is Lazy River tonight.
I do have one. I'm gonna go with Andre Yoshivas.
Interesting. Okay.
I was telling everyone this was a buy last year, but then they brought T. Higgins back. They re-upped Gesicki through 2027. And I expected way more from Yoshi when T. Higgins was hurt. He missed a lot of time last year. All of that went to Gesicki. Now, I still like Yoshi as a player. I think he's a fine wide receiver 3 for the Bengals, but for fantasy, I am totally fine shipping him off of my roster and making room for somebody else.
So it's actually funny because the first 2 weeks I think Higgins didn't play till week 3 or so, and Yoshi did have a big game in there. So I guess it was just touchdowns though. So yeah, I guess it really wasn't. It was 2 touchdowns. And yeah, no, you're right though. Gesicki did get a lot of that, and I don't know if anyone was expecting it because we haven't seen a tight end on that team, even though we've been saying get a tight end for years. And then they got Gesicki, and we were like, go get a tight end. What are you doing? And like they got a good one. Like honestly, it worked out for him really well.
Using this pod as a way to make amendments for who I was really high on last year. That I'm just.
No, I got one. My next one, Joe, is one's gonna hit you pretty hard in the heart.
I'm gonna actually tack one onto Joe's because this actually I put him in the WTF category. Is Jermaine Burton, who was supposed to be the T Higgins replacement? Because I don't want to say cut him because I don't think you do. But at the same time, he's buried behind Yoshi even, I would imagine.
I was about to say, it's kind of tough because you'd assume if an injury happens to Higgins or Chase, the next person up would be Yoshi probably. And Burton would still be off from there even.
I imagine they're going to be splitting time. Like Burton will be the
probably
third and long guy that they're putting in as the third, and Yoshi will be the goal line guy. So it really just kind of kills both of their stocks. But I honestly I don't think you cut Burton yet. I think there's a chance that there's something here. He was pretty good in college. I mean, kind of buried on the depth chart. Another one of those guys. But we'll see. I don't know. I just kind of pisses me off, honestly.
He hasn't been in the news for a long time, which is a positive for him because it seemed like last year it wasn't a lack of talent. It was just because he was getting in trouble constantly that was keeping him off the field.
True.
So maybe we can see more from him this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see more Yoshi too. He's really good at catching touchdowns too, and great name too. Yoshi.
Yeah, that's that one's been pretty killer.
All right, stab in the heart, Bill.
I was about to say, Joe, I don't want to do this to you, but I'm going to have to. My next one's going to be Tez Walker, sadly, for the Baltimore Ravens. I don't believe that he is going to get opportunities, even with a potential injury happening here. I liked him coming out, and I think we all can agree we liked what he was doing at UNC. But you figure the starters this year, Bateman, Hopkins, and Flowers. After that, it's probably Tylan Wallace. And then after that, it's just a bunch of guys that, I don't know what you're going to do with. They drafted LeJontay Wester. They still have Malik Cunningham, which we're not really sure what they're doing with there. And then they have the grinders, Keith Kirkwood, Anthony Miller, and then a bunch of randoms with Tez Walker. And I just don't think – I think they're going to invest in a wide receiver next offseason. And so I don't think that he's going to get an opportunity. I would be okay dropping him.
I actually disagree. I think you got one more year to rat this out because – he never really got a chance last year. They had fully healthy wide receiver room at least. Hopkins is old as dirt and honestly looked terrible last year. I mean, he caught 2 balls a game, maybe a little bit.
And yet they still brought him in over Walker. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if they believed in Walker, they would have just kept Walker and not brought in Hopkins.
But at the same time, I think that's a veteran prowess to this team because Bateman is not that veteran who's leading the team. I think Hopkins is the leader, as in hopefully he's at least teaching these young guys. Flowers is obviously the one to have, and then I feel like Bateman could easily have a couple bad drops and get replaced. I mean, I don't see Bateman or Hopkins being a sure lock for this starting lineup the entire year. To start the year, yeah.
I would disagree completely. I don't know. Because they had an open spot last season, and Walker could have been that third guy the whole season, but they used Tylan Wallace most of the time.
They did use Tylan Wallace.
Bateman has one 700-yard season, and we're just he's the guy now. I could see this.
I mean,
he's the best gopher I've ever seen. Okay,
I don't truthfully. I am never going to be the guy that's rooting for Rashad Bateman. Don't assign that to me.
Yeah, you are.
I have never once rooted for Bateman in my life. I made a trade for him, so maybe it seems like I'm in the tank. But I'm just saying what happened last season. It seems like they're just going to run that back again. But now with Hopkins in there too. I don't know. I just think if you have a decision to make between a guy that you took in the second or third round, like Elick Aomanor or whatever, him or Tez Walker, I'm taking Aomanor and dropping Tez. Like I don't feel bad about that.
No, I don't hate it.
About like non-deep leagues whatsoever. Like, I mean, I don't think you just drop them yet. My opinion.
Yo, low key.
Well, okay, I think we're going off a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The bench is insanely large in that league. Not a lot of leagues have that. I have other Dynasty leagues where I have 3 spots for taxi.
They gave us like extra roster spots in COVID, and we just never got rid of them, which we should have.
Yeah, we probably should have. But like
list all the leagues that we're in that have normal size benches, I think you can hold on to Tez. I think there's some value.
That's
there.
fair. I don't know, Josh. I would love to see what some of your taxi squads look like because I think you're probably clogging them with stuff that you probably don't need.
In all the Dynasty leagues I'm in,
all the plumber, Josh.
All right, we're going. All right, you can go, like and then I'll figure out what. Yeah, we're gonna go to Josh's taxi squad and see if we need to call.
I kind of like Hopkins this year, low key.
Do you? I'm not drafting him whatsoever. I'm sorry.
If it's late, I'll draft him. But
we offer something in the red zone that they do not have.
Hold on, we have a super chat on YouTube from Philip V. $2.
Philip.
Woo! Thank you, Philip.
You don't even have a question for us? Ask us a question, Philip.
We actually have applause now, so we can applaud.
All right, I'm going to say the least controversial cut ever.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you.
Thanks, Philip. We appreciate you. Seriously, ask us a question. We'll answer it here shortly. But real quick, I just wanted to just get into one easy cut no one's going to disagree with. We're not going to argue, and that's Dylan Labe. However you pronounce it, from the Raiders. We thought maybe there was a chance he could get on the roll and rode on, then didn't even do that. And then now Genty's there, and it's just over for you, man. Like, I'd love to see you catch on somewhere else or maybe be the number 2 even here, but it doesn't look likely. So go ahead and that's the 1 year like cut for me that you can just toss away.
Joe, why does it look like you're wanting to disagree with this?
Oh, no. Me?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I usually it looked like that Joe smirk that he's like maybe Lob has a future here.
No.
Oh, is Mostert on the
okay, thank God. Okay.
No. When did the Raiders get Mostert?
I don't know.
Did you guys know that?
Right after they got Madison.
Nice. I think that's a great backup. That's a good number 2 there. And then
I believe in the Raiders. There's only one person on this podcast that doesn't like the Raiders this year.
I thought you didn't like them either, but I guess that's just Joe.
The Raiders? I like the Raiders.
I like the Raiders because of Dante Thornton, all right?
Oh, my God.
That is one guy.
Okay, fair enough.
60.
By the way, Philip says he's just enjoying the content. Philip, thank you for being here. We really greatly appreciate it.
We appreciate it. This is us every week. Usually a little more angry, but this is pretty good. This is a pretty good mix. Nice, happy.
Lazy River tonight, Josh. Lazy River. All right,
I'm gonna go ahead, Joe. I'm gonna go with the guy that I think is being overlooked right now, and people could be considering cutting, but that's Ben Sinnott from the Commanders. Second round pick. He only got 5 passes last year. At Kansas State, he was in line, in the slot, in the backfield. He did a lot of work. Now we look at Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is going to be 35 in November. He's only played a full season 5 times in 13 years. And Sinnott is currently the tight end 31 in Dynasty. And he did most of his work in college in the middle of the field, which is something that I think this team actually really needs. Josh, put your hand down. We'll get to you in a second. Zach Ertz was very solid, and he is going to be fine this year. I like drafting Zach Ertz. I just do not believe that we can just write Ben Sinnott off as a bust. And I'm seeing a lot of negative talk about him at the end of last year going to this year. I actually really like him. I would be trying to acquire him for my taxi squad.
Okay.
While I completely agree with you that you should not cut Ben Sinnott, I'm going to go ahead and just say that your inflated, ridiculous stats of Zach Ertz hasn't played a full season but 5 years. He missed 1 game or 2 5 times, and so you just used that as didn't play a full season. One of those was probably sitting out. Okay. Actually, one of those was the Super Bowl year where he probably sat out and was just like, yeah, we don't need you for this one. but wild to me. I mean, he's had 1 year where he didn't play 10 games. This man is one of the most consistent players. And no, I'm not even.
He's older than we are, okay?
But yeah,
and
but
I know how I feel every morning. Granted, I don't work out like Zach Ertz, but it's got to feel a little bit bad.
For one, everyone did this last year where they said Zach Ertz is washed, he's done, which to be fair, the last couple of years were pretty rough in Arizona, but Arizona kind of stayed ass. It wasn't his fault. But the thing about Zach Ertz is he's been one of the top 5 tight ends for like a lot longer than people would believe. Like he's been hated on even when he was finishing as the top 2 and 3 tight end. And they're like, he'll never do it again. That was it. That's done. He's done. He's not going to do it again. And then he fucking did it again the next year. So it's wild to me how much hate Zach Ertz has gotten. The fact that he's playing at 35 and playing really well with a quarterback who loves him. I mean, don't get me wrong, do not cut Ben Sinnott, but at the same time, do not hate on Zach Ertz. That man is a fucking G, and he is going to retire and be in the Hall of Fame 1 year.
Yeah, he's awesome. Definitely not hating on him, Josh. Just saying that Ben Sinnott is solid.
You did like everybody else, though. It's not your fault. It's just
I've given up the
hate there.
I've given up the doubting Zach Ertz thing. I did that last year. I'm out on doubting him.
He saved my ass in a couple leagues. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, I know Zach Ertz is gonna be good. I'm gonna grab him.
Solid pickup. Solid late tight end to grab this year. So honestly, you're right.
He'll go as a 12 probably. Sorry, go.
Probably. Okay. Nope. Next cut that I have here is Xavier Hutchinson for the Houston Texans. Actually, I have a duo of Houston Texans I want to talk about. First one, Xavier Hutchinson. They went out and pretty much replenished all of the wide receivers there. Whereas, like, I don't think that he's going to be a guy that you need to worry about. Honestly, it's probably going to take an injury to get to him to be important there. But if you have him on your taxi squad, he's entering year 2, I think. He's good. You're good. You don't need him there.
Who else is the duo?
Jalen. Both Jalen's. Jalen Noel and whatever.
You said I have a double, like, or whatever, like as in like a second cut.
Yeah, but it's a running back. It's Jawar Jordan, running back there for the Houston Texans.
Mechie, I was just gonna be like, you hate people with cancer.
No, Mechie. I still believe in Mechie. I don't know what it is. I shouldn't. I can't let go of him, but I can let go of Xavier Hutchinson. And my second one is Jawar Jordan. They drafted him last year. We thought maybe he could be a guy that would come in for Mixon eventually, but then they went and drafted another running back this year. I have a feeling that they might draft another running back next year if Mixon, starts to slide even more potentially. I still think this is Mixon's backfield though. I don't think you need Jawar Jordan. I think people just overbought it because of his combine, and fair enough, but I don't think that he's a guy you need on the roster.
Do not buy in on players because of combines.
Pause. I still cannot get over the fact that Woody Marks caught 279 passes in college.
Dude, that is one of your most funnest facts, Joe. I love that.
He's gonna bring it up every
Billy,
every cocktail party. You heard about this guy, Woody Marks?
Woody Marks caught 279 passes. Has that ever happened in college?
I
don't know. It's a good question. I really don't know.
Because, I mean, every guy we watch tape on's like, 28 to – I mean, Bucky Irving had 56, which was really high in 1 year.
Yeah.
And I guess if you have 4 years of that, you're close. But, damn.
I honestly don't know. I that's a good question. I would have to look that up. Because I was thinking like Kamara maybe, but I don't know if he played that enough to do that. And then like Eric Gray kind of did a lot of that. But I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I don't know if anybody got that close.
I think, Joe, let's just say he's the only one who's ever done it. It's the way you've talked about it. I don't know if I'm up, but since we're still doing cuts and Joe switched over to keeps, I had one more. And
Lazy River. You can do whatever you want.
I'm not really good with it, Lazy River. Billy usually whips us behind the scenes if we don't do what he wants. So, AJ Barner is he's on the chop block for me right now. Like he's in my WTF category.
Sadly.
There's still Noah Fant there, which while I don't think Noah Fant is a future pick, he's still going to garner targets. And then you got the draft pick of Elijah Arroyo really high for him, for one, but obviously he's a good player. But like to go and get him right after you did that with Barner is weird. So even at this point, if Barner sees the field, Noah Fant retires or gets injured or goes to a different team, you got a combo of Arroyo and Barner for the next 2 years at the very least. And at this point, I just think it's going to be a weird split. Seattle's never really used tight ends well. They killed Jimmy Graham. I mean, at this point, I just feel like, honestly, I don't even really want Arroyo either. Like, I just feel like it's going to be an Arroyo-Barner split. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be one of those kind of Saints type things where they just throw to their random 3 tight ends and you never know which one's going to be. Can't start any of them. Obviously, I don't cut Arroyo. I think there's some hope there, but yeah, man, I was hoping for Barner because he looked good coming in, and honestly, even playing this year, he was consistently okay. But like, I feel like they were at least giving him 1 or 2 targets a game, and it worked every time. I felt like it was always a clutch play because they were always going JSNs, Lockett and Metcalf down the field, and maybe there is a role here as the 3rd wide receiver, but I just think it's Barner getting buried in the depth chart again, and it's just sad to see.
Yeah, I did like Barner a lot. I will say Arroyo would have been very more well-known had he not gotten injured. He's a phenomenal receiver, so I think he makes a decent impact for Seattle semi-early.
Yeah, Josh, you nailed that one. Barner is for sure. Sadly, I like Barner too, but rough couple of draft there.
All right, we're cutting. This one hurts my soul too, Bill. Kimani Vidal is gone. He's off your off your roster. I don't care how good this dude is at pass protection. It didn't do a effing thing last year. They bring in Omarion Hampton. They bring in Najee Harris. They have Hassan Haskins. And then they got Rocket Sanders to boot. Not that I am very high on him, but Kimani Vidal, you are out, sir.
LOL to all the people who paid big money on Vidal, because that was the like fantasy football darling of the offseason. And I was just like, why? Like, don't get me wrong, he's fine. But like, I guess it was just because nobody believed Dobbins or Gus Edwards could do it anymore because they've both been injured for so long. But JK said, JK got this. And obviously they cut ties with him, sadly. But Vidal, I never got the hype. Like, I was like, I understand, there's a hope, there's a chance, kind of the way I talk about Taj Brooks, like, could slide in there. We don't know what's going to happen. But like, the way people talked about him, they were like, this is the guy. He's for sure the guy. And I was like, why? Every time people do that, it's like the Tyreek Hill comparison. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not buying that because I'm just going to immediately not draft that person.
I drank the damn Kool-Aid, Josh. I really did. It made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense. The math was mathing, and it did not work. So,
dude, every time the fantasy football analyst consensus is about a player that should be not drafted in redraft, and they start talking about drafting him in redraft, it's usually wrong. So I usually just go the other direction and go, okay, let me get Bucky or Tracy and see what happens here.
Yeah, it's a smart move.
Bucky.
All right, Joe, I have found the only running back that I believe had more receptions in college than Woody Marks.
Is it someone that matters?
He played for Seattle, and he's kind of a deep cut, but everybody knows him as a pass catching running back for Seattle.
CJ Procise.
Nope.
That's a good one. Man.
No, we all know this name.
Marshawn Lynch. He's a big pass catcher, right?
But, I mean, that's... it was J.D. McKissick.
Oh, McKissick. And that makes so much sense. See, I think of him as a commander or whatever, Redskin. Whatever.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, that's true. I just thought about him on Seattle. But, J.D. McKissick. He's the only one. Now, technically, Tavon Austin's on here, and he played a little bit of running back at West Virginia, but he's mainly a wide receiver. Who are we kidding? But just eyeballing the list of most receptions, that's the only one I came across was J.D. McKissick.
Dude, thanks for looking that up.
That was
not gonna lie, I kind of zoned out while y'all were talking, but whatever.
We made good points.
I know the
Kimani
Vidal thing. I'm not a fool. I know the Kimani Vidal thing. Okay, I'm actually going to...
By the way, well, hold on, sorry. I just wanted to talk about who do you guys think it's going to be this year? Like, I know it's a little early, but usually the hype comes around like June, July. Everyone's like, oh, this guy looks great.
Well, right now, weirdly enough, it's RJ Harvey. Like, I know that we all believe in RJ Harvey, but, like, do we know for sure that he's going to be the lone back there? Like, I don't know if I believe that.
The last pod, man. I think even we ranked him too high because I think
so, too.
I don't think that counts for the Vidal because he's coming in as the
That's true.
one. So it's a little
maybe. Maybe.
Well, yeah, exactly.
We don't know that for sure, by the way.
The Taj Brooks, the DJ Giddens,
I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be.
Jordan from San Francisco. It could be like one of those guys because someone's going to hype one of those guys up and that you need him on your team for redraft. 12 teams he should be drafted.
I just think the goddamn train on Ollie Gordon. So
I'm really hoping you are doing that
conversation next year.
Ollie could be too. Yeah, I'm really hoping it's not Taj Brooks because usually when that happens, I'm wrong and I might just cut him then.
That's true.
Ollie Gordon makes too much sense for me again, which is hasn't worked out in the past as well.
You like him, and I get it. It's just it sucks. Miami's just a tough place to be. We might be having Jalen Wright conversations next year when we talk about taxi squad cuts.
2023 was not a fluke, damn it. I have an dream.
I have an 8-chance I'm going to save for the previews, but we'll get
I love that. All right, mine. I'm going to do my first keep, and this is just might be me and my pride, but like it's Ryan Flournoy for the Cowboys. I still don't believe that it shook out the third wide receiver on the team for sure who it's going to be, and I just don't think you can give up on him yet. I just don't,
It's got to be Tolbert, right?
Well, it probably is, but do we know for sure that Tolbert's better than Flournoy? I don't. No. I know he's going to get more opportunity, and he has done more, obviously, so far. But I still think I could drop him yet. A
couple real bad drops by Flournoy, but he did get more targets at the end of the season. And the problem is this whole team was trash at the end of the season because they had Cooper Rush out there throwing the ball.
That's true. I just don't know. I can't. I'm not giving up on him yet. As sad as that is, probably, but I'm not giving up on him yet.
Close to cutting him, but then I just knew you'd pick him up, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to give him to you because on the off chance that he ends up being good, Southeast Missouri State boy, alma mater, hard to cut a guy who actually made it to the NFL as a position player from our college. So
we need to cut this, by the way, when he ends up getting inevitably cut in camp or whatever during the 53-man, and we'll play this podcast.
Oh, our 6th-round pick got cut, and we're all like, no.
Yep, literally, yep.
We'll do a whole like dark hour for him, just like literally the podcast. Everybody just turns their lights off, and we just talk for a little while in sadness.
A seance to the spirit of Ryan Flournoy.
But yeah, I can't quit him either. I get it. Another one, and I don't know if this is controversial at all, but I don't know if he quite fits on the. This is technically his 3rd year. Weird how taxi squads turn out, but Michael Wilson, 2 500-yard campaigns. I think this is also I kind of kept this as like a keep acquire, and this might be one of those guys that whether that's taxi squad or not might be on the chop block. So if someone does drop Michael Wilson, I don't think the Cardinals really did anything to replace him. It does kind of seem like he's there for the wide receiver 2 role, even though it didn't look great. I mean, there's Zay Jones there, I guess, but I'm not scared of that. Kyler's got to figure out how to throw the ball more consistently to Marvin Harrison for one. But if Marvin Harrison becomes big, then he's going to need another number 2. It can't just be Trey McBride going everywhere. So there's something about it can be, but I would like to see it too. But Michael Wilson does play a role here. They got to have a 3rd guy to be able to catch the ball out there, and it's not just James Conner in the flat. So just if you see Michael Wilson on the free agent wire, or someone cuts him during the draft season, say someone has 10 picks and they have to get rid of a whole bunch of people, Michael Wilson gets cut, go ahead and swoop him up. I think that's a good play. So not quite sure how that fits into the.
I mean, he's a solid possession guy, and it's like the same argument I had with Zay Jones last year. Like, someone else has to catch a ball in this offense, and then they just didn't do it. So maybe Petzig gets a fire under their ass, and they decide to do something.
He was a good fill-in, too. Like, I think I played him a couple times, and I hit 1 or 2 of his 10-point games, and I was like, that works.
Yeah.
For sure. Josh, before Joe goes, I just want to say I audited your taxi squads. Not bad. Did a good job.
Thank you.
It wasn't near as bad as you're making it sound with some of your defenses. You actually look pretty good.
You can audit mine if you're bored, Bill.
I like to give people a chance.
I'm definitely not bored. I just wanted to prove it if you did it or not.
Since we are an IDP Army or IDP channel, I do want to say one person that I wanted to cut was Jordan Battle. I haven't seen anything from him yet, and this is 2 years now. And
excellent breakout candidate this year.
I think I kept him just because there's got to be tackles on this team, right? And I feel like he's gonna be able to swoop up some in the deep secondary. But man, it's been gross. And I thought he was gonna be a hit right off the bat, and it's just I think I drafted him the 3rd round.
Oh, by the way, Josh, I think the only defensive ends that you do not have on your taxi squad are the guys from the Falcons out of this rookie draft. Everybody else is on your.
I almost got the one you hated that you would have been so mad if the Bears drafted. Shamar Stewart.
You have Shamar Stewart.
Oh, do I? Oh.
Old rod in the leg Stewart. Yeah.
Is that the one you hate? Yeah.
No.
I actually told Gerald to pick up the Atlanta. Who's the Atlanta edge rusher that went there? It's been so long.
Walker or Williams?
Williams. I told him, I was like, go pick this guy up. Or maybe it was Walker. I think it was Walker. I was like,
Walker.
Go pick him
Jalen.
up. I can't. Yeah, I was like, I can't fit him on my roster. Go ahead and grab him because he was making moves, and I was like, yeah, man, there's a guy sitting there.
I'm still trying to make the case for Walker as DL2, DE2.
Yeah, like a top 20, top 24. Yeah, I could see it happening. Honestly, I definitely went heavy on edge rushers in the last two drafts because I've had one or two, and then if one gets injured, I'm just struggling.
Yeah, I always have the most mediocre guys that seem to.
Your offense usually carries yours okay when you have Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown on the same team or some stupid shit like that.
It's CeeDee Lamb.
Sorry about that.
And Gibbs, and now Henry and McBride. Oh, I love that team.
You joke about how I got my Dynasty team. I have no idea. I've watched it happen in real time, and I still don't understand how you've gotten this team.
Brick by brick, Josh. Brick by brick.
Mine was one draft, so mine was fun, and the other league we're in. So,
all right, Joe, who you got?
This one, I don't know how controversial it is, but Javon Baker. I know that he's scrappy. I know that he's tough. He's a tough guy. It's a 4th-round pick. He got one ball last year on a team that was just bleeding and just needed a Band-Aid, just needed somebody to catch a football. He got one pass last year. So, no, Javon Baker, I don't care how trendy and scrappy you are off my taxi squad, sir.
No,
another
I
guy,
agree completely.
Same concept, Jalen Polk. I don't think anyone's cutting him because, but same concept, nothing really pretty off of it. Tried to get him off Billy a couple weeks ago. He said no.
It's Polk.
He said he said it reeked of desperation or something like that. I can't remember.
No, it's just like I forgot who you were trying to trade me, but it was like two guys that I would just be sitting waiting on, and it's just like I would just rather sit and wait on Polk.
Hey, this guy's gonna take over. I'm actually gonna get to one of those guys in a second. So,
so my next guy is a guy that I don't really know what to do with because he is in between regimes. He didn't do anything last year. It's Malachi Corley for the Jets. I don't really feel comfortable cutting him, obviously, but at the same time, like I don't believe that he's gonna get on the field that much either with Justin Fields and what they're trying to do there. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with him. I don't know what advice to give. Yes, Josh.
I actually have him as well, and he is on my keep acquire. One of those make sure to keep or go find him in free agency because I feel like he will be one of those cut candidates. And the reason being is Lazard's a holdover from the Rodgers regime. I feel like he's gone the second Rodgers goes and signs the Steelers. Josh Reynolds, I'm sorry, whatever. And then you got Garrett Wilson. So it's wide open. And Corley could be that weird guy that Justin Fields just absolutely loves for like no reason. We saw nothing. We never really had a chance for him. He's a keep for me. I want to see at least one more year. Next year, if we see what we did last year, I can safely say, yeah, go ahead and get rid of him. But Fields is here for the next 2 years, 3 years. I can't remember exactly his contract. And I agree with your whole concept, 2 years. I agree with your whole concept of, Fields throwing. But, like, there's not a number 2 on this team. Like, I don't believe so.
True.
At least. I mean, technically you can count Lazard, I guess. But Lazard, I really feel like is a holdout from last year. And I feel like the second Rodgers signs, he just follows again, which is gross and weird. I don't know what Lazard's blackmailing Rodgers with because Rodgers is pretty weird as it is. But
wasn't there a report that he was already in talks with the Steelers?
Because
I was gonna send something out and be like, Rodgers is for sure going here now that this is happening. But
yeah, I still find that whole situation so weird. I don't even want to give Rodgers any more chance on our pod because he'll be in all the other circles for all.
Corley had a smaller ass play and then he fumbled it on the 1 yard line. So he just dropped it.
That was a fun play though. It's a fun one play.
Yep.
We'll see. Let's just give it maybe half a season, even at the very least. Let's see if Fields even looks his way, and then in which case you can maybe able to cut him mid-season and figure out. I don't know if you can stack taxi squad players, but some leagues don't care.
Fair enough.
I like Corley, man.
Big fan. Xavier Gibson's another one of those too. I think he's a second-year guy or third-year guy now, but it's one of those guys who like still might have a chance. not gonna keep him on your roster, but like just keep an eye on him. Put him on your watch list. Since you stole mine, I'm gonna go with the guy who I offered to trade you for Polk, and it was a little better than this. But Luke McCaffrey, another guy who didn't do anything last year. That you're like, what do I do with this? Is this just Christian McCaffrey's brother? And honestly, the answer might be yes. Like it might just be he's a nepo baby and he just made it. Listen, Jaden Daniels liked some weird receivers last year. De'Ami Brown was getting peppered with targets. Noah Brown was getting stuff. They have a pretty full receiving room, and maybe this is one of the guys you keep on your roster in case you do have a taxi squad lock, and just see what the first couple weeks bring. Because people probably will go rush out and get him just because of namesake alone. But I feel like there's a chance that there is something here. I mean, he does have the same genetics as Christian McCaffrey, and maybe there's a chance to unlock this in one way or another. I actually really like their receiving room a lot, minus the whole pay for Debo situation. But Debo, Terry, and then it's Noah, KJ Osborne, Luke McCaffrey, and their rookie Jalen Lane, who all have a chance to play on the field. And honestly, there was 4 wide receivers on the field a lot for this team. So
let's not pretend that Debo isn't hurt all the time these days. So,
well, he was actually fully healthy last year, so he's coming into the season healthy, I assume. But you never know. This team is just super interesting, and I want every connection I can get to Jaden Daniels. So I just think you can go get KJ Osborne at this point. Go get him. He's probably free. Noah Brown, even I don't like him, but like there's a chance that he's like a number 2 on this team. So
I really like Noah Brown until he caught that Hail Mary to beat the Bears like and just fucking derailed our whole season.
I just like, has there ever been any like decent campaigns from him? 500 yards seasons in a row, basically.
He was always just a guy with the Cowboys.
Consistently okay.
All right, Philip has a question about Jermaine Burton. I do think he's good to go, like good to cut. I don't think we're going to see anything from Jermaine Burton. I think if you're on the fence between him and somebody, probably good letting him go.
Clarify, I hope he's not talking about Trey Burton, which you would keep. But Jermaine Burton is probably cuttable. It's sad, but like I'm going to hold on to him one more year in one of my leagues. But also, we talked about that. That's one of the leagues that has super long depth chart for no reason. Yeah. So I'm going to see what happens. But if you're in a pinch and you're like, what do I do? Like, I really did struggle with it, and I have a deep bench, and I was like, I really don't want to cut him. And like I moved around him and I sat there, and honestly, I think it was the wrong move. Like I think I could have got a good rookie out of free agency right after the draft over him at this point. So
yeah, with Burton, if he can stay out of the news, off of the police scanners, I think he'll be. I mean, his skill set actually complements T. Higgins and Jamar Chase really well.
He would be a great third for this team. If Yoshi Voss didn't exist, I would say keep him. But Yoshi Voss does exist, and
Yoshi's gone. In the red zone. Yoshi's off the taxi squads.
Yikes! All right, Joe. Anything? What else you got? Unload the chamber.
Yeah. All right. This one I got a couple written down here. That's why I'm taking my time here. So, A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell is a guy that I think we need to be trying to acquire.
Okay.
And just hear me out on this. Pittman could get cut next year. Only be a $5 million cap hit.
Could be cut? Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. We got a 2025 with Pittman. 2026, it's a $5 million. Get out of here if your vertebrae is not going to work this year, situation. Alec Pierce, also a free agent in 2026. I don't know if it makes a ton of sense for them to bring him back. We'll see what happens with these quarterbacks. But we got Josh Downs and Tyler Warren. They are established. But AD is the best separator on the perimeter on this team. And he can be out on the boundary, and no one else on this team outside of Pierce and honestly Pittman for that part play that role very well. So I think that they do get something figured out with the quarterback situation, and A.D. Mitchell could be a fantastic add that a lot of people are really frustrated with after last year. So they invested like a 203 in A.D. Mitchell. I think you could probably get him for nothing at this point. So I would be trying to acquire him.
Now, I don't disagree with you because I actually do like Adonai Mitchell, and I was really hoping he didn't end up on the worst passing team in football. So it's hard for me to say acquire him, but at the same time, if he is cheap or free or a throw-in, or you could like swap a I don't know, Jermaine Burton for him or something, as we kind of just talked about, or even Barner or something like that, where it's like, I'm dumping another rookie where I don't know what's their second year guy that I just don't know what's going to happen in their situations. And that would be a great swap, honestly, right there. Barner for Mitchell. Guy needs a tight end, maybe some hope and a prayer for a tight end. You just wanted to get Mitchell. I'm okay with that, but I would not break the bank on this one. Like, not because of Mitchell's talent, because this team is just disgusting.
I would throw a 26th third for Mitchell right now.
That's past mine. I'm pretty frugal when it comes to stuff like this. I'm not about to be throwing thirds out for a guy who might not ever get more than 200 yards.
He's too good.
He's good talent-wise. The
cards have to fall a little bit in his favor, but if they do, he has a lot of potential.
Well, they got Richardson for 1 to 2 more years, probably 2 more years, and then they just got Daniel Jones for 2 years. So you're pretty much screwed for the next 2 years. And then you're hoping for 2027. True. I'd throw a 2027 third out there because that way it would actually even out to where, like, by the time it actually matters, I could start him.
True. That's true.
Nah. You still believe in Richardson, Joe, on the real, like lazy river?
I don't believe in Richardson.
Daniel Jones. Oh, Richardson?
Yeah, do you believe so? I know you guys were both believers.
I have such a Richardson stance that I will not back off of it. I still believe it.
It's kind of like somebody, buys like the really good body of a car, and then you have to like actually build the whole car to make it work. Like the body of the car, fantastic. What they put into the car so far, trash. This thing ain't moving. And that's what it feels like watching what's happened with Richardson so far. And the thing is, Shane Steichen made it work with Jalen Hurts. I feel like we need to be giving more credit to Hurts, but we don't need. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. But maybe Jalen Hurts was just better, and it wasn't necessarily Shane Steichen who made Jalen Hurts good. Maybe Jalen Hurts was just good, and Shane Steichen just made him a little bit better. But
controversial take in these day and age, man. A lot of people don't think Jalen Hurts is good.
I know. Well, and everybody said it was Steichen that did it, but Steichen's had 2 years with Richardson. Richardson, at least the ability was more coming out of college than Hurts, but Hurts just got that dog in him, I guess. I don't know.
Last offseason, we had all those reports that were like the smoke under the fire, right? There was fire under the smoke that Anthony Richardson was dealing with shoulder shit and was having extreme pain during camp and during training camp, and everyone was just like, nah, we're still going to draft him. He's going to be awesome. And it didn't work out. And I didn't draft him many places because of what I was hearing on that one. Let's see.
He was going like 7th or 8th overall quarterback wise. Like that is just wild. Like you lost.
He'll probably still go high this year. Honestly, I think he'll get drafted at least to potentially be a top 10, 12 quarterback. Still, even though it's like I don't believe in him.
I was going to bring this up. I didn't actually know about the news, but I was like, do we think that shoulder injury was actually way worse than we thought originally? Because like it's his throwing shoulder, so there's a reason they pulled him for his rookie year.
Yeah.
And then he came back and just looked so abysmal. And he got pulled like 3 times for Joe Flacco or however many times.
Yeah. I think the Colts kind of put these injuries under wrap because we didn't hear a whole lot about Pittman, and basically his back was broken.
Well, look what happened to Taylor that one year. It wasn't as bad as Christian McCaffrey. That was one of the most under wraps devastating things that ever has happened. What happened last season? But like Taylor had a weird thing that one year too where we weren't sure what was going on. So, I don't know. The Colts just have a weird thing.
The 49ers should have been fined like a draft pick or
no kidding. No kidding.
That was not even just for fantasy's sake, but just like to act like your opponent's planning for Christian McCaffrey until Friday and then or until Sunday. It was game time.
It was till Sunday, because it was a Monday game. And so
and Mason fucked up and told the people.
That was brutal what happened that time. Okay, I just have like a couple more, but I have one that like I think we need to talk about because he's going to probably be a starter next season, and he's probably somebody's potential cut candidate. It's Jamari Thrash for the Cleveland Browns. He's in line to start right now, guys. Like they do have Deontay Johnson, and maybe that's why a lot of people are probably like he's going to start, not going to be Jamari Thrash, but Jamari Thrash is probably going to start for the Browns next season. Judy and Tillman will be on the slot and outside, but the other side, it's probably Thrash if they don't, unless Deontay Johnson completely changes the way he's been for his entire life. I don't think that that's going to happen, and with the Browns especially. But he's probably chilling on a taxi squad right now, and you could probably get him for decently cheap because somebody probably hasn't thought about it yet.
Or pick him up after cuts after the rookie drafts. He's probably sitting in a lot of people's free agent pool right now. I don't know what his free. I'll actually check it out.
I'm sure it's good because I know because we usually do our previews through the summer, so like we would have come up with this eventually anyway. But like, just I don't think a lot of people are talking about it because the Browns are such a hot mess.
Sleeper's a little weird because there's like people with redraft and like smaller leagues on here as well, but 19% rostered. So in Dynasty, you bump that up to what, 40, 50? Like probably tops. I would say like, so he should be able to be like findable right now. And I agree because this wide receiver room had a bunch of people and then all of a sudden it is just devastated. And we do have some talent in this quarterback room. I know it's not like immediate talent. Like we don't know what Shedeur is. Kenny Pickett might be a cut, but Joe Flacco can make a lot of these people work. And then we don't know what Dylan Gabriel is. Everybody's hated on him for being picked before Shedeur, but they drafted him for a reason. Not Cleveland's had a great run with running or quarterbacks, but got him late enough to where I was another wasted first round pick. So I'm interested to see it. I mean, Judy had a great year last year, but that was all with Jameis. Like, who knows what Judy looks like in this new offense. Cedric Tillman, I think, is pretty talented and will be something big in the future.
He's a huge question mark.
He's a question mark.
I love Tillman, man. I love Tillman, but
why does Cedric Tillman sound like a guy who's been in the league for 8 years? Like, I don't know why I forgot.
Honestly, I used to confuse him with Joe's boy Colin Johnson a lot, and for some reason my mind melded those two together, but they're not. I mean, Colin Johnson's not as good as Cedric Tillman.
I forgot Cedric Tillman was a second-year guy last year. I think it's his third year now. Yeah, like, I was like, wait, he is young, right? He's 25 years old.
He was better than Jalen Hyatt.
Jamari Thrash. Everyone out there listening, just go check and just see maybe if he's on a waiver wire because like he is in line to start unless they add something else, and I don't think they're going to add something else unless Deontay Johnson, like I said, makes a major turnaround in life. I think he might be striking gold with a guy that not a lot of people are talking about right now.
Billy, I think you're onto that one. And I just want to throw this one out. He's not a taxi squad guy. Donovan Peoples-Jones just signed with the Saints. Shaheed's out, completely hurt. I know they got Cooks there. He could be a free starter as well. So if you have space at the end of your bench, wouldn't hurt to pick him up.
Fair enough.
I hate that we do this podcast together because he's available integrity right now. And
I know. I almost had him today.
Now it's going to be a fist fight.
Yeah, who'd you say again?
DPJ.
Peoples-Jones.
Okay, so my it's been long enough that we've been here. I got a couple more like honorable mentions, but this was my last like feel strongly about, and it's been a long time since we talked about the Eagles, other than the little Jalen Hurts nod there. But Will Shipley is a keep candidate. Do not cut him. And now I understand what people are thinking. Saquon Barkley, he's the lead back. He's going to go out for 2,000 yards again. And while that may be, there's no pass catch guy on this team right now. Gainwell was that guy. Barkley can obviously catch the ball, but he cannot play the amount of snaps that he played last year, especially the fact that they're signing him for another 3 years. They're going to want to keep Saquon healthy. Like, this is going to be like a secret weapon type thing where Barkley has his big games and has his decent games. And like, I think it's low floor or high floor. Don't worry about that. But there's a chance that Will Shipley gets on the field and usurps A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon is literally the in case Saquon goes down. And Will Shipley could be the implement to Saquon Barkley. And not to mention be the future, potentially. I don't know. He had great college run at Clemson, and I think he has a chance to actually get a little bit more work. Now, if you look at his stats, you're like, man, he had 80 yards. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? Nothing. You're going to keep him on your taxi squad just for one more year in case there is an injury, sadly, or in case Dillon can't do anything. So this running back room, they drafted Will Shipley last year for a reason. They didn't really add anything other than in the undrafted free agency pool. So he's a freebie right now. Also, another guy who might get cut. Go look for him if you can. Add him to your taxi squad before the season starts.
It's a good call. Scrappy.
Joe, you're muted for some reason. You're talking, but we're not hearing you.
Oh, sorry. I was picking up DPJ, so you guys couldn't get him.
Did you do it? That's awesome.
We have waivers.
Oh, the waiver's locked? Ugh. Who's got the best waiver? Wait, is he on the Saints?
Yeah.
Joe, he was not listening to you when you were telling why we should like DPJ.
I zoned out for a bit.
Okay, I'm just going to run through a couple guys real quick. So Roman Wilson has to be on your taxi squad.
Yep.
I think with the yeah, seriously, but I think with the quarterback situation and his lack of anything last year, people don't really know what to do with him. So do not move off of him at all. If you're
gross hamstring situation that like just killed his entire rookie year. But he's one of my guys too. So like I just want to add on here. But the thing is I think if you have that like taxi squad that locks, I think he should be on your roster and not a taxi squad because there is no one behind him. Even if Lazard comes in, I think Roman Wilson's on the field more likely than not. So I think Roman Wilson is actually on your active roster. So like keep him. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Antonio Brown sucked his first year with the Steelers. And then Jared Wiley recovering from the ACL, but he was really good coming out of TCU. Travis Kelce is a free agent next year. We'll see what happens there. The one I want to pitch to you guys is Troy Franklin. What are we doing with Troy Franklin? He's Bo Nix's boy, but
yeah. And he did have he had a couple of one catches that were really important last season. Mm-hmm. I do remember those few times.
You got to keep him.
But
There's still Sutton rumors. There's still Sutton rumors. He's not signed long term. Marvin Mims is still and he's on my list as well of person to keep. I assume you're not cutting him. He's not even on your taxi squad. More likely on your team. That's why I was going to touch on him later. But we still don't. It's unproven there. We've had a couple big games here, but we've never seen anything consistently. And then behind that, there's not really anyone. A.T. Perry been a wash. Veli was a weird fun thing for a moment. Yes, they got Pat Bryant, so that should be fun potentially for the future. Maybe a Sutton replacement in the future as well. But I think you got to keep Troy Franklin for at least one more year just to see. I mean, he actually did do pretty decently. Like you said, there were some fun catches for him. So it just wasn't what we expected with this wide receiver room. Thinking Troy Franklin's an immediately wide receiver 2 for this team. And Bo Nix played a great year. So weird to not see it.
I think you're right about that.
I think you are too. It's tough, man. He's Nix's boy. You would think he would have gotten way more work last year. No.
And maybe this is the breakout. You know what I mean? This is a great breakout.
Could be. Could be. Definitely could be. All right. I only have one more, and I just had to end with an Eagle. Anais Smith, I think you're good to let him go. I don't think he's going to get an opportunity there. And I think by the time he would maybe get an opportunity, there's going to be somebody else that the Eagles draft to use in his spot. I don't know. Josh, maybe you feel differently. I don't feel like you do, but I don't think if you need to get rid of him, I think you're probably good and you could probably pick him back up later in the season if something changes, but I don't think you need him right now. Johnny Wilson, on the other hand, is a keep. I don't think you need to keep.
They were trying to get Johnny Wilson going all year. He had so many red zone targets. He's the tallest wide receiver that's ever played football, I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling he's going to end up switching to tight end at some point. Somehow they're going to get him to bulk up and end up being a tight end.
We keep saying he needed to do that, and he just I don't know.
Anais Smith, they're talking about him being a cut candidate with all the undrafted free agents they picked up, some guys who are more kick return guys, which Anais is a kick return guy. He just had injuries play his season, which it didn't seem like big injuries, but all of a sudden he was a scratch or he'd play and just never see the field. I think the only time he really saw the field was when Devontae and AJ were down in the early season, and then I think he picked up an injury there. I agree with Billy. Just keep an eye on him. Maybe keep him on your waiver, your flag list,
watch list thing. Yeah.
Watch list, yeah. But Dotson, they didn't pick up his 5th year, so there's a chance that this 3rd slot's open, and if anyone makes noise outside of the top 3, or if there is an injury, someone's got to fill in. So. Could be Anais, could be Johnny Wilson did not look great in all the targets. They gave him so many chances, and it looked bad every time. So
I just don't think there's ever going to be a 3 on this team. I just don't think it's ever going to be.
I think the 3 is Goddard.
A thing.
Yeah, I don't. And
wide receiver wise, I just don't think there's ever going to be a 3rd.
Oh, for sure. No, I agree. I think that the third is Goddard. Until Goddard's gone, I don't think we can operate with a third wide receiver the way this team is a running team. My last guy to touch on was Ricky Pearsall. I know this once again isn't like a hey, you're going to cut him or whatever. Just super excited about him, and I think there's a chance you can acquire him because the team looks like they have like this wide receiver roster when they really don't. If people believe in Demarcus Robinson, Ayuk, Javon Jennings is probably the highest hyped person outside of Ayuk, and then Ricky Pearsall is like, hey, he never really did anything, and you can't even say it's because he got shot. Like that was a wild situation, but like he played for a while, and there was a couple of good games at the end of the season, but that was all in trash time and games that didn't matter. Like Detroit wasn't trying anymore, and Arizona was out, so it was like the two good games he did have was not worth it, and maybe people are weighing on that, but I do think you can acquire him, and I do think there's a nice role here on this team. I think he kind of slots into the Debo role. I mean, Debo kind of got away from the running role later in the season or career, which was stupid, but that's a whole other topic. But yeah, no, I do think Ricky Pearsall is available. I know that people might be a little hyped on him, but I think he can be a lot cheaper than you think.
Unless you're in a league that Josh and I play in, and Billy plays in this one too, and then you get like the offers for the 104 for Pearsall. I opened that up and almost spit out my coffee.
Yeah, so he did the same thing to me, and then he said, well, he got shot, man. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm still not going to give you a first-round pick for him. I'm not saying I don't care. Like, it sucks that happened, but, like, at the same time, it's not a charity. This isn't UNICEF. Maybe one day UNICEF will open up a fantasy football league, and then you'll be in business. But here we are.
UNICEF charity for football players that got shot.
That'll be exactly what it is. What is that? UNICEF F. That's another acronym that I can't fully think out of my brain, but no, super excited about. I am excited about Pearsall, but like it's still like we don't know. Like this whole team's a whole unknown at this point. Is Christian McCaffrey going to play football? Are they going to pay Purdy? I mean, they kind of have to. And then is Ayuk going to be back to full speed right away? Is Javon Jennings actually good? I don't know.
That's the one that bothers me. I think I'm just going to bet on Kittle. I think that's
Kittle's fair. I'm so glad they paid him because that's another one of those tight ends. I was talking about Zach Ertz earlier. Another one of those tight ends that people just hate for no reason. Like, nope, Travis Kelce's better. And honestly, in my opinion, Kittle's been more consistent. I know what I'm getting from Kittle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in on Kittle. Also in on Jennings this year, but we'll see what happens there. Okay. Well, that is all we have for the taxi squad portion of this offseason. Obviously, there's going to be more potential cut candidates coming up. Like there'll be people that get cut that we're like, oh yeah, that's definitely a guy that isn't gonna last forever. But that's all we got for now. Next week, Royal Rankings Rumble, the first one of the offseason. This one is not going to be a polite podcast. There will be some anger. It always happens the same way every season. Every time I'm like, well, this one's going to be cordial. It will be a nice affair. Never is. It's always a fist fight. And either me or Josh will completely agree with Joe, or one of us somebody in this is just always going to agree with another person. And those two will just be aligned the whole time. Then there'll be one person out on an island. It's always a fun time. No, I can't wait because I already just from some of the stuff we've talked about throughout the off season, I know we're going to be far apart on some people. And so like I already see what's coming, but it's always a fun time. I'm very happy that everyone is here to join us. Thank you all so much again. Joe, get us out of here.
Good night.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.